There we go. Thank you, Carrie. Okay. Well, welcome everybody to the April Energy Committee meeting. So wanted to get started here, and so Josh said he is not able to join. He had another meeting or something else came up, and then Toby was not feeling well still, so he wasn't also attending. So we're out two folks, but I don't know about Holly, if she was gonna come or anybody heard from her, just, I don't know. I mean, not a big deal, but I just didn't know if anybody knew. Okay. Cool, so, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 of us, I think that's fine. 2 for our quorum, over 5, so that's good. But let me call the order, get the meeting started, and, we have 6 members here, so that's good. Sorry, my brain is going slow right now. And, all right, the minutes. So I apologize that Carrie sent those to me before I sent them to you yesterday, and so I know people didn't have a lot of time to look at them, but did anybody have questions on the minutes? That's great. Okay. Anybody have questions on the minutes or concerns? Okay. Well, with that, does somebody want to make a motion to approve the minutes from last month, the March?
So, all right, I do it for a second.
Okay, great. Lots of motions. That's great. Okay. And I think all of us are here. So sounds like there's a motion to accept. Everybody in favor of accepting the minutes from March? Aye.
I abstained, I wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't here either, for that matter, but.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I think we have enough, but there was nobody on the Zoom that's from the committee, so, okay. All right, great. So we can move forward with our updates of what's going on. There's lots going on. Y'all have been really busy doing awesome work, so thank you very much. It's really appreciated and very impressive. So since Kitty's here and also Cressica, do you all want to start with and others I know who were working on the Energy Prize, I want to give the update for the Energy Prize work?
Yeah. So we've launched we've launched the home energy plan survey. So if you haven't gone and done the survey, I encourage you to try it out. Go to the website. It's going to be clear as of tonight which button it is.
Okay.
There's like 3 surveys on there now.
Okay.
I will try very hard to put it front and center.
Okay.
There's been a lot going on, a lot of things that I need to clear out of there now that we're done with the assessments.
Mhm.
So that's the first thing that I hope everybody can help with. And then, of course, there's all the other things still that we definitely would like, your contributions to whenever you come across a contractor or installer, for example. We're looking for, heat pump water heaters, obviously insulation and heat pumps especially. So that's old news.
I'll just say
yeah.
too, well, I mean, I'm sure you've seen, I was leaving the island or driving around like last week, I guess, and there was like a lot of Dave's heat pumps trucks coming on the island. Yeah, is it
Interesting.
Dave's
I
heat
know
pumps?
that.
Yeah, like I think it's called Dave's. I think you've
Yeah.
heard of that company, and they
The
have
same
like these
one.
branded trucks, and
Yeah.
they're bright blue, I think. Anyway,
Huh.
there's at least 2 driving on the island and around, and I was like, okay, some people are
Good.
getting heat pumps, so there you go.
That
Good
might be
to
part
know.
of that program that Janice Petzel organized.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
right.
they're the ones.
Yes, that's
Yep.
true, that's true, yeah, so,
Yeah.
doing good work, and then I'll also say that, like, the person that installed my heat pump, hot water heater is Tanner Grant, and he's a plumber, he's not on island, but he's doing on island plumbing work.
Great.
We have a limited crew doing that work, so there you go.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Mhm.
So we've got the Island News article out to encourage people to fill out the home energy plan survey. We're probably almost up to 50 respondents to that survey between the people that we've worked with to get to respond through the assessments, as well as additional people. So we're a quarter of the way there now that we've finally launched, so hopefully we'll go forward faster from here on out. So for our first goal, which was the solar and microgrid, planning, I think we've made a lot more progress in the past month than, ever before.
Yeah.
Thanks to Myra, thanks to Kizzy, and thanks to Bill, because, yeah, we've all kind of launched into, different components of that project. Myra's been, exploring, potential microgrid developer partners, and we were able to meet with our first one, which was great. Kizzy, made the meeting with CMP happen, so we had a really productive discussion with them about how potentially to move forward with NREL grid modeling, in addition to how to plan, like criteria for planning our first solar arrays, as well as, where we might start to talk about the first microgrid sites. And then Bill launched a outreach program with ICC. Would you like to mention?
Well, yeah, I didn't launch much. I've just been talking with the ICC progressively over the past year, I guess. And I think the real productive step forward is that Philip Ladd is very interested, and he has written a letter that circulated amongst those of us who were available at the time. And he sent this out to a number of, it is germane to the setting up of a mini grid solar array in the town center, right here, okay? Which was from the very beginning, our first thought as to the best location for a variety of reasons, and still is, though there are competing interests up north, okay? I keep one of them up there. Yeah. But at any rate, Philip, because of the interest and the potential overlap of the ICC, has focused on the system here. And he's written a letter to the various interested parties, different organizations that are centered in this area. And we're waiting for a response from those who, show interest. And that's where it stands at the moment, but he's definitely on board. Oh, I should add, he would very much like to meet with this group. And it has been difficult for him because right now he's in the executive board of the ICC meeting. So there's a conflict with that all the time.
All the time, every time, okay.
Yeah, like if maybe we could just mention the timing right now, because then we could maybe get a read on whether or not you might like to be there.
He can't do it next week.
So it'll be the 24th, wait, let me look. It'll just be easier to talk about that right
Yeah,
now.
that email too.
As many
Oh, you-
people,
I
it would be
forwarded
nice
to
to
you guys,
have
didn't I?
a
Yeah.
collective meeting. I think, okay, so Kizzy can do okay, so it's, sorry. Okay, Tuesday, the 23rd. All day. Wednesday morning, that's the 24th. And then basically he says he can do the afternoon of the 25th, but I don't think it's an option for Kizzy really. So,
24th.
yeah, basically the 24th, yeah, 23rd on Tuesday.
I could do the 23rd or the 24th, not the 25th.
Got it. Okay, good. So what time would we like to propose, like, would you be able to?
Yeah, what time on the 24th? Sorry. the
Well,
morning?
it's the morning of the 24th or anytime on the 23rd.
Yeah, I mean, again, I probably have, I don't know, I have a limited schedule, but like on the 24th, I can meet between 9 and 11. So pretty much the morning, and then the 23rd, is a little more tight. So, probably between 9 and 11 then as well, and then, a little, maybe like after like 4 or something.
Okay,
Like 4:30, but so if it's, I don't wanna be the holdup, like if
Okay,
I'm, it's the
4:30.
most limited schedule.
okay, what did you say? You might be, okay, great. And Harry,
I said the 23rd or 24th, I can do those times.
okay, so shall we propose, 9 to 11 on Tuesday and 9 to 11 on Wednesday?
Either or.
Right, yeah, or, yeah, like 1 hour
Yeah.
during that time, yeah.
4 hours.
And then pertaining to meetings also, we have a Friday meeting with our Island Institute liaison, which thank you, Monica, for possibly volunteering to participate. And hopefully Harriet, you might be able to
Yeah,
come too, we'll see.
I can only come in the morning.
Okay, yeah, we definitely will do it in the morning, 9:30 to like 11 or sometime in there if we can all make an appearance. That would be helpful for all of us. Okay, and then finally, you know, in prize news, we're looking into applying for the Clean Energy to Communities Technical Assistance Program, which would require a partnership with CMP and another community organization and the town.
Minimum.
Minimum, exactly. And so it would also allow NREL to be of much greater assistance to us. And some researchers at NREL have expressed interest in being part of that.
Oh, good.
So we'll be talking to the Island Institute on Friday about that, and also, you know, in general, we can start to plan out that that grant proposal. That should be.
I have a footnote to that, a very small footnote. Maggie Wilcox got in touch a couple of days ago while writing the letter we had previously conceived with regard to the second stage energy prize. And before I responded to that, I got in touch with Cressica, and what I've done is weave in some of the considerations for this new C2C grant proposal. And I did that in a succession of emails to Maggie as I learned myself more about that proposal, trying to clarify what their role could be. And I haven't heard back from her. I've called her twice today to find out whether the onslaught of emails was daunting, but she has not been available at any time. So I don't really know yet how she's absorbed that information. The basic story I sent to her was that at the very least, just a general support for what we're trying to do. That would be the baseline in the letter. But I suggested a variety of things. It'd probably be easier to send them in an email, but they had to do with this particular C2C proposal. I think a lot of it is going to be imagining, dreaming, and conceptualizing. And so I tried to set her to work on the things that might be germane to their efforts that we don't know a lot about. And just said, you know, whatever you can come up with is at least fodder for our consideration. So that's where it stands at the moment. Now I have a report on that. I also talked to a couple of other people, but I'll wait for a better time to insert that.
I have a question. What does C2C mean?
It's what Cressica said, but it's the abbreviation for it.
Clean Energy to Communities.
And it's abbreviated C2, not DO, 2C.
Yeah, C is the number 2. C, yeah.
It seems perfect for us. The only thing is that it provides more technical assistance than anything else, and I'm not sure. We need funds.
We need money.
I mean, it works really well in parallel with these other grant programs, you know, it doesn't negate them or it basically adds to our work, but at the same time sets us up for being in a much better position to get more affordable energy infrastructure in the future, as opposed to just kind of off the shelf.
Yeah.
options.
But there is, in fact, there is a proscription against
Exactly.
off-the-shelf hardware in this technical assistance program.
Yeah.
We need to explore that. That seems a little dumb, quite frankly,
Well,
but you know, typically when you put together a complex system, you pick components from different sources and you put them together into a,
Yeah.
you know, a complex.
Yeah.
This sounds as though it proscribes that approach, so.
Yeah, I think they just mean that it
We
needs
need
to
to see.
use some, advanced
innovation.
technology, innovative technology, yeah, exactly.
And I mean, you know, this is administered by the Department of Energy, right? I
Right.
mean,
And, yeah.
Department of Energy and Enroll, I mean, they have, you know, Kumar is working for this demonstration program, right? I mean, it's kind of like a funnel
Use
for
us.
them, right?
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we will
Yeah.
all benefit from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's good. But it is, you're right. They probably want like you using innovative stuff and not just like, fall back on, so.
But there is another aspect to this. They want technical questions from us on two separate, what, they have opened the opportunity for us to pose technical questions, which means we really have to start wrapping our head around what we need to do
Yeah.
quickly, because the first deadline is April 14th.
Yeah,
or
19th.
19th,
It's
and then
okay
it's
if
May
we-
14th,
yeah.
yeah.
It's okay if we wait to the next round on
So,
that,
yeah.
but it would be nice to have some sort of participation in the Q and A. So yeah, and then the last, news item is that we completed the second round of home energy assessments. Yay, we survived despite the storm trying to.
Oh, yeah, I know.
hurt us. And yeah, we went to 20 sites, or Kizzy went to 20 sites with Colin.
Mhm.
So that was great. Oh, and we had a weatherization workshop, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you to you and everyone. I'll unmask you both. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
And I really hope we can do a repeat performance. sometime
Yeah, do
soon.
you want to tell people what we did?
Oh, yeah, it was a flurry of activity. We, all got together in a crawl space and put foam pipe wrap on, it was kind of like a race. To see who could grab the foam pipe wrap and find a pipe, before, it
That
was all gone.
warm, yeah.
Yeah, that was warm before it was all gone. That was great. And then we got to cut a lot of foam squares for insulating the rim joists, and then spray foam around the rim joint. You did that, right?
Oh,
Yeah, and just people got to dress up in Tyvek suits, and there was a lot of fashion component.
This is how I spend my life, and you get excited about this?
I have a great picture of Myra in a Tyvek suit, actually.
Oh, you do? Yes, put it on.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, we did a bunch of other stuff.
And we did, you also did the weatherization of the door.
Yeah, we weatherized the door, which was, really good to see, that it's quite easy if you get the right, materials and parts. And we also installed more insulation in the attic, which is a lot more painful than I thought it was gonna be.
What kind of weatherizing did you do? What kind of sealant did you use around the door?
We used a kind of a ready-made wood frame with the weatherization strip already attached.
Mhm.
And that way it was able to come in and really overlap and cover the gaps in the door.
Close your
And of course, it makes it hard to close the door, but my door is hard to close too. And then we caulked around that wood frame so that it,
Mhm. Yeah,
seems
and
to
there
seal
were
it.
5 people, and then you and Kizzy. And
Yeah, it was a lot of
and
people.
6, yeah, so
Yeah,
it was a good crew.
yeah, really good.
Mhm.
And then we had delicious Greek food.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and then we made dinner afterwards, yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. So if you want to have dinner.
All vegan,
Yeah.
totally environmentally friendly.
Yeah, it was. And if, so for people, I think it was good because, not only did we do those things, but we learned, right? So
Yeah.
now a bunch more people know how to do all those things, which were,
And it was a team.
some were, it was a team, people had fun and everybody could kind of try everything out. And some things were easier for others than, for some people than others, but it was great. And everybody participated and we
Yeah.
had a good time. So it was really cool.
Yeah,
I hope we
that's
do
great.
it more.
Where was this located?
My house.
We outed her.
I didn't know you were trying to be undercover, but it was good.
But I don't mind people knowing after the fact.
Yeah.
Well, have you noticed any different? I don't know. The only thing you probably noticed was the door
Yeah,
being
The
less
door.
drafty.
Mhm.
Yeah, we actually have to test your house again.
Actually, this brings up a good point. We ought to encourage people to keep data. So for
Yeah.
example, there are ways to know immediately. I take data in our house every day, okay? And I've been doing some work in the house, just recently. And I can see a jump in the temperature in that particular location in the house, just because I have the data set against which to measure it. So to the extent that we can help people collect data in advance, it's a really good way to demonstrate progress.
Yeah, let's get some
Show me how to
sensors.
do that.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's not hard, but it's, you can either buy equipment that does it automatically and then just download the data. Or as I've done, you just put thermometers in different places and you take the reading and, you know, whatever. Excuse me. That's convenient for you. And I take the outside temperature and then the inside temperature and just look at the difference between.
But that would be good, yeah, for like, maybe not every house, but you know, if we do it again, yeah, thinking about that.
Cool, plus a blower door, that would be nice.
Yeah, but a lower door test too. Did you do one originally in your house? Okay, yeah, so we could follow.
The other thing we can do is if we get, for example, in your house, let's talk about your house specifically. You have your heating bills from the past, you know, year, for example, whatever you pay for heating and electricity. You can look at those before and after you did the work, and depending upon how important a change it is, you can see the change in your bills.
We'll see how it looks next winter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, anything else on the prize?
I don't think so, unless Kizzy has anything else to add. Sorry, Kizzy.
Yeah, I do. Sorry, I apologize for being on Zoom. It's kind of difficult to interject at an appropriate time when you're on Zoom. So I'm just going to kind of circle back to a couple of things. When everybody was saying what day can you do, what time can you do for scheduling, Kreska and I, with one of our advisory groups, is using a website that kind of everybody puts their available times in, and then it kind of pulls, you know, when everybody can do something, or the most people can. So I would suggest that we could maybe start using that to avoid, you know, 2 weeks of emailing each other and trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Good idea, doodle, is that what it is?
Yeah.
What was Jessica?
Well, the doodle is one, there's a couple of others that I've seen.
Yeah, I can send that one out, yeah.
We don't need to figure it out now, just, sounds good.
And as towards the groups for this C2C grant, we're kind of, you know, the grant really relies on us having as much support from as many people as we can. So, you know, as well as the ones we mentioned, we're also thinking, you know, about so many things, you know, the state office. So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. If anybody has any strong connections with any organization, be it on Islesborough or on the mainland, that they think could be helpful, that would be really great. Another thing, so if anybody wants to ask,
Just to clarify that point, so for the purposes of the grant, what do you need? You just need a statement of interest, is that?
Yeah, letter of
Then-
support to
okay.
say we are encouraging this kind
Okay.
of project exploration to go forward in this
Okay.
community.
Okay.
Yeah,
Would something like, I mean, I don't know if it would work, but like the governor's energy office, is that something?
exactly.
that you
We
want?
need to,
Okay.
and hopefully we can review that with Jamie and anybody else who's willing to try to interface with them
Mhm.
more directly.
I'm
Yeah,
talking with Satchel tomorrow. We had a really brief conversation today, but I alerted him to the fact we might lean on them a little bit more for support.
great.
So that comes, and there's another story I want to tell about that conversation, but not now.
That sounds good, all right.
Great, sorry, Kizzy.
okay, so one last thing was, if you could all do the survey, that would be amazing. If you could bribe or cajole others into doing the survey, whether you could point them in the direction. I've had really good luck with actually just talking with people and kind of doing it. It kind of flows better and it's less onerous for them to, you know, talk to somebody and have the questions asked rather than, you know, sit there filling it out. So if anybody knows anybody else that that they think could fill out the survey, that would be really, really helpful. And you can just, you know, enter the answers into the survey yourself.
Yeah, for them, on their behalf. kind of.
Okay. I mean, have a lot of the people that have done like work with Colin or, you know, I mean, have you gotten some of the like obvious folks or people who've already participated? I mean, I guess I'm wondering like, who's missing, you know, like who should
yeah.
we target? Like
Yeah.
people who haven't done anything or?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, exactly. But for example, Bill wrote a list and hopefully Kizzy will send back the list with people that, like, just removing the people that we've already contacted or
Okay.
gotten to do the survey.
Okay.
So if you can make a list of people you would feel comfortable approaching and encouraging them or actually, saying, hey, can, we like actually, talk about this quickly. It'll only take like 15 minutes if we talk about it fast. It could be a longer conversation if they want. It's, you can learn a lot by, having actual conversation. And then we can say, yeah, like this is a great group of people, go ahead and do that. And that would be, an enormous help
Okay.
to us. Yeah. And
Do you
we'll all
want
learn
feedback
a
on
lot.
that survey? Is this an appropriate time or would you like to do it another time?
We can definitely do that another time. Yes,
Trevor is
yes, we
asking.
could do that. Thank you.
Oh, good
That's a
idea.
good idea.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's great on the ferry because it's like 15 minutes, right? So like-
Yeah. Sit and survey. Everybody's got their phones out.
If they have to memorize their taxes from the previous year or the square footage of their house,
Oh, okay, I don't know what's on
People
the
guess.
survey.
They'll be
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have to look them up.
Oh, wow. Yeah, keyword.
I know the square footage of my house.
Thank you. I missed the top part of that.
Oh, let's scroll back up here.
Think you said you
That
could
part,
help
yeah,
create
yeah.
one if we need it.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, we could definitely do that. Thanks. Barry, I'll get Kizzy on that.
I could just stand at the ferry terminal and kind
Yeah,
of pet.
or you could do that.
I mean,
Somehow I
you-
don't think that'll scale.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you could ask them if you could put it at the ticket counter, not like at it, but
Yeah.
like in front of it. or
Yeah.
something.
Right,
Yeah.
the bulletin boards up in the
Right.
cabin too, where people are just sitting
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Something to do, great.
Yeah.
But make sure it's color, I think like, sorry, it needs to
Okay.
stand out,
Yeah.
because something on the bulletin board, that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of look.
Put it underneath the emblem of the energy hub.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have Holly pass it out to everyone who buys tickets.
No, that's smart. Hand them a little QR code. Yeah.
I think the- Probably charge us for that,
Exactly.
for a flyer.
Yeah, cool.
All right, anything else, Kizzy?
That's it from me. I just, well, apart from wanting to say that the assessments and audits went really well last week. We're really happy with Colin. He is fantastic. His depth of knowledge is amazing. We're already kind of planning ways we can help people, hopefully financially and definitely physically do things. And just to, reiterate that the weatherization workshops were really great. And kind of a byproduct of that was that, it just so happened that all of the participants were women. And I think it was actually really, really cool and empowering to do these things that, you wouldn't have thought of doing. And for myself, like I would never have known how to insulate a rim joist. It's really simple, like, a 10-year-old do it. But it was really cool to kind of get people together and make people a little more confident in doing that kind of thing. So it would be really nice if we could do that, that kind of thing in the future as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll be doing it with my grandkids over this weekend.
I know, it was fun to like,
Uh,
after you cut most of the way through the foam core board to karate chop it and
Yes.
check it on. Everybody loved doing that.
Yes, everybody.
Everybody had their own way, it was good, so, yeah, it was
Yeah.
good. It was a lot of fun.
And Kizzy will also be reaching out very soon about window dressers and who might be able to help with that and who might join our
Yeah,
measuring.
My husband Dylan has said he'd be willing to help out.
That's so great.
Yeah.
He's a
awesome.
measuring pro already,
He
so.
actually has the measuring
Oh,
device,
great.
laser measure too, so.
Oh, good.
Yeah, great. So, and yeah, we'll be reaching out to all of you.
Sounds good,
Yeah,
sounds good.
they're all
That's
doing
great.
them.
Cool.
So, yeah.
All right, well, anything else on the prize or all good? Anything else, Kizzy, or you're good?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, well, I'm gonna move to the next topic, which is the fire public safety projects. I know we kind of did that last week or last month, but I don't know if you have any more to add. I think.
What in particular are you looking at me for? I have a bunch of stuff in my head, but I don't know if it's appropriate here now.
Oh, I mean,
You mean
it's
the,
totally up to you, what you want to say.
do you want you want me to summarize the quotes and where we stand with those?
No, we can just say we're gonna be further evaluating them, you said this week, right?
Yeah, I've been trying to reach Kurt Penny.
Yeah.
He has been unavailable, and both at the ICC and here in this building, we have difficulties with the timing of the post. Nobody's available on Thursday, which is when they wanna come. Kurt promises too strong. He agreed to tomorrow, but I've had no corroboration on that since, 2 weeks ago before he went on vacation, and I'm trying to figure out how to use my schedule tomorrow, because I've got things I have to do on the mainland. So I really am anxious to hear back from him.
Wait, and who?
This is where the heat.
Kurt
Yes,
Penny is,
Solar
From
Logic.
Solar Logic, right? that's
Solar
what I
Logics,
thought.
yeah.
Okay.
and he wants to look both at the ICC and
Okay.
here, at the town office.
Mhm.
So anyway, we're struggling with the time on it.
Okay, but that's good that we're, moving forward with that and trying to get that set up and.
So it would be for a quote.
We already
It-
got quotes.
Well, we already have the quotes,
Yes.
but
For an
they,
estimate.
we responded to the quotes and we need them to adapt the quote and the plan. And I wanted to add, we've had little positive response from Midcoast.
Right.
That's basically the story. They are not really very flexible. I just talked with Candace and she was very impressed with the speed with which they responded to her request for an evaluation over there. So we're waiting to see for the ICC how they handle the quotation and how it looks, because they were almost twice the cost of Solar Logics.
And they were also, not very flexible in addressing our concerns.
They weren't even willing to put in the new R values for the ceiling and the floor. And those are significantly higher than the ones that they used. So that in and of itself is disquieting. I'm not happy with that level of flexibility.
So just to clarify, we got quotes from both Solar Logics and Midcoast to do the
VRF.
VRF heat pump, I guess, installation here in the whole town office building, which would go into some of the public safety, kind of into the public safety area, right? And the point of it generally being to, remove the need for the boiler, completely, would disconnect the boiler, but you would need the boiler, you'd have these, heat pumps providing all the heat. And I guess the ICC is also trying to do the VRF.
Looking into the possibility, they don't yet know how much this is gonna cost. And so I'm not sure whether they're willing to pursue it, but we'll find out.
What is VRF?
It is variable refrigerant flow.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mhm.
And we're trying to do it because there's a good incentive from Efficiency Maine to install these systems, and that's why the requirement is to essentially make the boiler in the building obsolete. So,
And they are more efficient than these mini splits.
yes,
The system is more flexible and more efficient than these. By the way, I do have word back from Satchel, since we're talking about these systems. I posed to him the prospect of taking these heat pumps that are installed in the building and transferring them to another building, for example, the library. We've been talking about doing a VRF system in the library. I have qualms about the applicability to that building, but be that as it may, he first said, nobody's ever asked me that before. I don't know what to say. So he went to his boss, and this morning, I called, you don't need the details. Anyway, I spoke to him briefly this morning. He didn't have the answer yet, but he texted me about an hour ago and said, we can do that. We need a memorandum of agreement on how this would happen, should you choose to do it, but in fact, we would be willing to transfer the heat pumps from this building to another town building, and it would be okay, so.
from an Efficiency Maine standpoint.
From their point,
Yeah.
yes, their standpoint, yes, because we've already gotten rebates for the installation of these. And so there's a question of how those rebates would be applied to another building. They haven't done that before, but they're willing to do so.
And just to clarify, why would we do that?
Because the VRF system you put in here is much more efficient than these. And both companies, Solar Logics and Midcoast, struggled with how to incorporate the existing heat pump capacity in their proposal. They struggled in different ways, but they struggled. And so the best approach is just to ignore these and put in a whole system rather than to balance the remaining need against what we already have. But doing that means that these sit as a piece of hardware that doesn't do anything on the wall, you know? And so what do you do with that? And the prospect of moving it someplace else is at least worth considering. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'd just like to have a more involved discussion about this at a, yeah. soon.
all this does is say that Efficiency Maine is willing to do it. It
Yeah.
does nothing more than that.
But also, I'd like to be able to talk to Kurt or one of his representatives, you know, on site about that issue, so he can understand, right, the systems, the existing systems better, but
Okay, well, at least we know it's a possibility if we need to, but they're open to it, but, you know, we haven't decided to do it. Okay, well, that sounds good. Thank you. That's helpful. And I guess like, would we be, I guess, when would Solar Logics, or I guess seems to be who is headed in the right direction for us, like, what is their timing on?
I talked to both companies before we initiated the process, and each company promised, whatever that means, that they could get the work done and the billing invoiced within our fiscal
June
year.
30th? Okay.
So we've had no further conversation on that, and of course, in the interim, we've altered our, the proposal. They have to go back and reevaluate the proposal based on what we've said to them.
Okay,
So that's going to change the time frame, but I don't know to what extent.
okay. That is helpful. And I guess, do we have like a cost estimate
On what?
on this VRF system? No?
The one, well, yeah, or the one from Midcoast is $142,000, and the one from Solar Logics was about 108, and they come down to, I've forgotten what it comes down to for Midcoast, but for Solar Logics, by the time you do the rebates, it comes down to around 70,000 as they proposed it.
Right, okay.
Do you remember the other value, Cressida?
for what,
What Midcoast comes down to?
it was,
It was still high.
they didn't calculate the rebate, so we have no way of.
They didn't even attempt.
In comparing them,
Yeah. okay,
so,
okay.
yeah, basically, they're just not cooperating, so you're not gonna pursue that.
Okay, that sounds good. All right. good.
Oh, and Satchel said, when I told him this, he said, Solar Logic has done a good job in the installations that they have done that we know about. So he was supportive of their skill and adaptability.
Good to know. Okay. All right, anything else on other things with the, like, fire station or anything like that? Yeah, go ahead.
Greg has not yet finished the installation here. He keeps getting sidetracked. He said maybe tomorrow.
Of the thermostat, right? Yes, okay.
But that's the only issue that we've dealt with there. Haven't attacked the hanging light or anything else there.
Right, okay, okay, great, thank you. All right, well, I feel like we kind of covered a part of the town office update and, probably that's the town office, but I know anything else in the library going on or?
I'm out of the loop. I have no idea.
No, I don't know, anybody else? No? Okay.
Well, I'll just say, we might try to move forward with the lighting, you know, within the next month, so.
Okay,
Converging on a plan.
okay, sounds good. All right, and, all right, the municipal building,
Yep.
and I see we got, I don't know who.
Oh,
is
yeah, I
part of
need
the
this.
thing? Okay, okay,
Basically, this is our, like, we have a really important vote coming up in 2 weeks. So I hope everybody will make a plan to be there on April, what is it, 24th?
During our meeting time?
It's 6 p.m. Yeah, I wish, no. No, it's at 6 p.m. at the Kinnicut Center. It's really important that we pass this bond. It's it's not very much money. It's going to only increase property taxes by less than 1%. And basically, almost everybody in the year-round resident community would only be paying less than a new ferry ticket per year. So it's like, we get a new health center for a ferry ticket per year. And a bonus to that which is what I was, spending a lot of my life on for the past year, is that if we pass this bond, then we get another, like, basically matching, $845,000 from the federal government.
That just came through.
And it just got passed by the House and the Senate, so we actually will get that money if we continue this project. And that will be for medical and energy equipment, that's what we wrote it for. And not only that, but also because it will fully fund the solar array, we will get free electricity for that building. And that means that will be further saving taxpayers' money to the tune of at least $15,000 a year, which is more than the share of the bond payment that we're asking for from the year-round taxpayers.
Right, 11,000.
So
Which is
are you
crazy.
planning to make a presentation about this at the meeting?
I mean, I'll be available, you know, if this isn't mentioned, I might
Yeah.
very well
Yeah.
actually get up and
Yeah.
encourage this kind of
Well, you
thinking.
should hand out this,
Yeah.
put this on the table and hand this
Yeah.
out to people, they can read it and you can send it to it.
Yeah, that's a good
and-
idea.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really, I mean, it's just like,
Wow.
so many
Besides,
people have been
think about your
putting
health.
so much, yeah, like, there's so many
Right,
ways
the
to think
minimum.
about this.
Yeah,
Like,
everybody, I mean,
this-
look at the difficulty we have
Yeah.
getting healthcare on the island. This
Exactly.
just minimizes that struggle.
if
I
this
think-
project doesn't go through, the health center, you know, at some point, it is non-compliant, it might get shut down. Then we're gonna have to pay so many more ferry tickets, you know, to get off, to get
And that's just for
healthcare.
things
It's
that
so
you can
many
schedule.
things.
That has nothing to do
Yeah.
with things that you can't schedule.
Like emergency.
Yeah, emergencies.
If you do bring this out on the
Yeah.
backside, you should do bullet point memorization,
Uh-huh.
because a lot of the numbers do get confusing, and if
Okay.
we were able to break it down a bit
Uh-huh.
more, people
Okay.
would understand it.
Just like a few bullet points
Yeah.
instead of the spreadsheet.
Keep a spreadsheet and on the back have it like
Okay.
explain it, so some
Okay.
people may look at the numbers and be like, that's still
That's a
lot."
huge number.
Yes.
I know, that's the thing, like,
Good point.
it's like so easy to break it down, but then we keep getting stuck on the big number.
And just bring
Yeah.
up the fact, like you said, like if our medical center doesn't keep up the requirements, it's gonna get shut down and we're
Yeah.
gonna spend
So-
more tickets.
Yeah,
So don't give the number first.
yeah, I won't.
I know,
Give
yeah.
the arguing points
Yeah.
first, and then on the flip side, let them look at the details.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. And also start with like, yeah, well, anyway, we gave you some tips. I think this is another committee's issue.
Free
Yeah.
electricity.
Yeah, exactly. Yep,
And
exactly.
any surplus will go to the other accounts in the town. Anything produced over the requirement for that building will then be apportioned to the other town accounts,
Yeah.
just as the two arrays
And we
now.
need it now because actually that is not spilling over anymore because for some reason this building is using a lot more electricity now. And only this building is getting the solar credits. In the
I
past
haven't
few-
actually seen those
I
data.
was surprised to see that in the past few bills. I need to go over them with you to make sure I'm understanding it correctly, but it will be interesting to see where the electricity is going.
Yeah, I've lapsed on updating those.
Yeah.
I need to do it.
And tomorrow evening, will you be at the public info session?
I can be, yes.
And we wanna have that too.
I will work on my presentation.
Where's your public info sessions?
Here, yeah.
Here, and
Is
on
it gonna
Zoom,
be on Zoom? Yeah, because I can't, I won't be here on the island, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna join on Zoom. Okay,
it'll be on Zoom.
That's good. Yeah, super. Yeah, you should make like a slide or something.
Okay,
that
just
you
one
can-
of this.
That way you could put it on Zoom and never, you know,
Okay,
you can have
right.
it in person, but
Yeah.
also like have, or send it to me and I'll put it on Zoom or something. Put it up or something, I don't know,
Put
but
it as your image.
yeah, something, yeah.
We could have everybody do that.
You can send me a PDF and I'll screen
Yeah,
share.
that's probably better for Carrie to do it than me. I'm like, I'm gonna take that. and do
Krista,
it. Yeah.
You know, we don't bank much for the town, so it just gets apportioned when they make it surplus, and that's really only in the summer.
Yeah, I mean,
That's not
maybe,
this time of year.
yeah, but, you know, like, in past years, it has been, you know, it's fluctuated a certain amount, but like, year on year, it has, like, there's been a shift in the pattern of electricity use that has potentially made the credits that we get from the arrays not able to cover.
And last year was very bad for solar uptake,
Yeah, okay.
very, very cloudy.
So it might be, yeah, it might be a, you know, consequence of the rolling credits. One could hope,
Hmm.
but we can look at the chart of the actual usage versus the production and see, yeah, we should investigate that anyway. especially when we're adding a whole other set of.
Well, yeah, I
loads.
mean, because we just added this and that might be part of it. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
if it's
I
not
mean,
like very efficient, I don't know.
It's really not that much. We'll find out.
Yeah,
we'll
all
figure
right,
it
well,
out.
TBD, okay,
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
good. All right, well, that's good.
I mean, that
Um,
doesn't use that much electricity, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. It's helpful. And anything else on the municipal building going on? It sounds like this is the biggest thing.
Yes, it's a big thing.
Sounds
We
good.
want to move forward.
All right, sounds good.
So there's a comment.
Yeah, the only people I've spoken to think they will be paying a lot more in tax for the new health center. Maybe a simple infographic that's eye-catching. Okay, we will do that. One simple one. None of these tables that remind people that people have houses that are worth $1 million. That's like, nobody, it doesn't apply to anybody.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it was simple, yeah, that'd be
It's
good.
a good point, I mean,
Yeah,
you know, and show it around to a few people, I mean,
yeah.
I sometimes have a hard time with this, I mean, there's people who are very expert in, you know, what format gets the best attention, what people can readily absorb, and it's a real,
Yeah, it's an art.
it's an art.
Okay, it's great.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yay, thank you, that's great. Well, and yeah, I mean, and like this CDS grant will also be for energy equipment, stuff, yeah, I'm gonna say stuff, equipment that wasn't gonna be, wouldn't be able to afford otherwise, they
Right.
weren't planning to put in otherwise, so
Right.
that's really
I
good.
would
Exactly.
assume we're gonna be discussing energy equipment on the 24th. When we meet.
Oh, wait, to talk about, well, the 24th is about, at
You
this
have a-
meeting?
I believe.
health
that
center
on
meeting? I don't know.
24th of this month.
I think he's talking about the meeting for the municipal building. Are you talking about the one with
Philip
Philip
Ladd,
Ladd?
we're meeting, presumably we'd be meeting in the morning of the 24th.
Yes,
That's right.
and then the Kinnick.
But that has more to do with the solar array and bringing a lot of people on board, to.
Like the
bolster that.
whole town center, not just this building? I mean, there would be obviously some connection, but it would be more, I think like the solar, the microgrid we're talking about would have like, would probably be some sort of like, not rooftop solar, right? It'd be like standalone freestanding solar somewhere
So
else.
we're gonna be talking about the microgrid?
Yes, yes.
That's
that
the
would be-
primary focus
Yes.
of
That's
that
what I
meeting.
thought.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it might impact this building, but, so that's something to keep in mind, but I think we'd have to first see if we get the money from the health center, if it goes through, and we could talk about it, but yeah.
And that's at 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Well, we
For
don't
the-
know yet,
for
it's
the-
contingent
well,
on
yeah.
Philip's response.
Philip Ladd, we're proposing 9 o'clock, either the 23rd or the 24th, right? So it could be either day, it could be the 23rd or the
You're
24th.
gonna make some kind of an announcement, I would assume.
Yes, we will send out an email, yeah. And also, and then, of course, the meeting here, this meeting is, already kind of, that's not in our hands, that's, I guess, it's a town meeting, so. Mhm. Okay, all right, well, gonna move on to the EV charger kind of equipment update. Monica, I know you wanted to speak to Mert more and you figured that out, so how's it going?
I did send an email out a few weeks ago
Yeah, I
to
saw.
the mayor. I copied you in that. I sent it also to Josh and Jordy Watson. They're the officers for the fire department. I haven't heard anything. So I was unable to make the meeting last week, but I'll be going to this upcoming one and I'll be sitting down with him, and speaking to him.
Okay,
I did say in the email that he's not necessarily forced to buy the items that I brought to the table. If there's any other EV suppressant equipment that he'd like to look at and purchase, then I'd be willing to speak with him. So I'll just keep it updated. If he emails me anytime soon, I'll reach out to you guys to let him know to see how it's going.
okay, and yeah, and I think just remind him, like, this has a time limit.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna
if
be
you want
like,
us
let's
to
go
buy you some
shopping.
stuff, yeah.
Let's
Then
go shopping soon.
Tell us, yes, we wanna take you shopping in the
Yeah.
next couple months, definitely.
Isn't it fun trying to get responses from people in a timely fashion?
I'm quite used to it. Finally, you run up to this person, you're like, hey, how's it going?
Right, they're like, that in corner.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mark's not avoiding you, he just.
No,
busy, but
no, he's a busy man himself.
Yeah, but no, it is important, and I think saying like, and I think if you do kind of have any issues, let me know, or just because like, I think we're doing this to try to like support them, you know, obviously we want to have an EV charger, but this supports beyond just an EV charger that we're putting in, so, you know, here in the town, so, yeah, I think like hopefully it isn't like, oh, we're just trying to slow them down because we don't want an EV charger, right? I think hopefully it's not, so we'll just try to suss that out, you know, what's going on.
Yeah.
Have questions or further concerns, because there are, you know, even private EV chargers, like at my house. Hopefully that never nothing that ever happens there, but it could happen at someone's personal home as well, so. Okay, cool. All right, well, Dick, do you have anything updated on? like,
Only that
utility?
the House Bill 2172, which relates to the Utility Commission moving into performance-based rate making, didn't pass. And I've had a long discussion with Jerry Rene about that particular bill. I don't think it was detailed enough at all. I think it was too open-ended, and if I were to receive that bill at the Utility Commission on a Monday morning, I wouldn't know what to do. My instructions of performance-based rate making is not the same as cost of service-based rate making.
That's true.
And that's what I lived with for a long time. And the difference is enormous.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And, because then you propose a solution to the problem and you look at the cost. And then but coming in from the other side is too open-ended. And I think that's why it didn't pass. I don't know where we're gonna go from here, but because the meeting on the 24th will discuss the microgrid, I can open up some communication with the Utility Commission and see whether or not we're gonna have performance-based rates, time and service-based rates or something available
Yeah.
for the new buildings or any other policy, and that's what I would intend to do.
Okay.
So other than that, nothing has changed, the legislation failed, and I'm not surprised. I don't know if I would have voted for it myself.
Yeah. Who put that forward?
We got, I gave them the idea was to save the peak generation in the state and how it could be done. But I think I don't think they understand it or something. I'm not quite sure why, because it's what we're trying to accomplish, which is to reduce the reliance on fossil energy and peak generation. And changing the rate structure would begin to accomplish that.
Do you want to explain to folks what performance-based rates are versus cost of service rates?
I don't know what it means, frankly.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to know. I asked them, I said, explain it to me. What am I gonna do on Monday morning when I get that order from the legislature to proceed? What am I gonna do with it? Cost of service-based rates, I understand.
That's the legislation.
Okay.
Oh,
Trevor shared it or somebody.
Yeah.
Trevor, thank you.
thanks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think, cost of service is like the utility says, this is how much it costs to do something. And so
Exactly.
this is the
Propose it.
rate we're asking for to charge people for.
And
Yeah,
that's utility regulation's been done that way ever since I can remember, and that was, 50, 60 years
Almost
ago.
any commodity is priced.
Right.
right, exactly, that's normal, but performance-based, it's incentivizing the utilities to do certain things, right?
But somebody has to propose an idea before you can do that. You can't just do it arbitrarily. You have to, something like solar or wind or storage of some form.
Right,
You
yeah,
have to propose a technical solution to the
yes.
problems. And then you can begin to evaluate them.
and
Wouldn't
then,
you be proposing an outcome? This is what we
Yes.
want to
That's-
see,
that's what
and this is what it's gonna
That's
cost to
true.
accomplish
we
that.
want you to
State the outcome
decarbonize
that
so
you
much.
want. The outcome was not stated in the legislation.
That's it.
Yeah.
You gotta tell them we wanna reduce the peak generation in the state, the fossil energy involved,
Right,
which is, because we have a very poor load factor in the state of Maine right now.
You don't mean the peak production, you mean the peak demand,
Peak generation, peak demand, yes, peak demand will reduce. the
because you
generation.
have to make the peak production match the peak demand.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you wanna reduce the
If
peak
you
demand,
reduce the peak demand,
yeah,
the peak.
then you don't have to
supply
have as much
comes
peak
down.
production, yeah.
Yeah.
We did that in Vermont. We went from it's a 60% load factor in Maine, or 65, to something like 80% by reducing them. And that means you're getting more efficiency out of the
Right.
utility
yeah,
system.
yeah, exactly.
But
And when they have to kick in more stuff, it's usually cold.
What?
When they have to kick in more to match
Natural
match
gas.
peak, it's usually
Natural
rapid and it's
gas.
usually cold.
No, natural gas,
School bill.
natural gas peakers, that's how they
Okay.
combine stuff.
Most of what I read said that that stuff has been traditionally cold, they're kicking.
Maybe a long time ago, but yeah, now the modern is like, it's cold, combined
A
cycle.
certain generation.
Peaker
is better
plants
than
are
others.
called.
We need base load generation for a long run.
Yeah.
That's why we need storage with solar.
Mhm. So, okay, well, that's helpful to know that they didn't pass it, you know, what's missing and, you know, where we could go, but yeah, I mean, it is,
So
I
we-
think,
That doesn't mean we can't proceed. I mean, we can
Oh,
proceed anyway.
I mean, it just shows,
I
you
was
know,
hoping we could get legislation to give us a boost.
yeah.
Write a better law,
Huh?
write a better law.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, Bill.
Write a better law, yeah, I think, well, you
I
know.
offered to do that, but I don't think that it would have been much more direct.
Yeah. Well, they're obviously trying to encourage the utilities to do more than they are, right? And that's like the point of it, because they haven't really been very forthcoming. They haven't been very innovative or working to like, they're barely keeping the lights on when we have a storm, never mind like reducing, you know, peak demand.
I love
so.
the CDF idea and the idea we might be able to manipulate the microgrid in such a way as really be energy efficiency in the long run.
Yeah, yeah.
And more
The minute I love
reliability.
that, I'm gonna start beating on the utility commission to allow us to proceed on a rate making to some extent.
Mhm.
And,
Well,
anyway.
it's good that I mean, I think that we made, they seem very supportive, but you know, connecting with Central Maine Power on this microgrid, I think is crucial that we made that connection. I'm not saying they're gonna bow down and do everything we want, but they seem positive. I don't know, like,
Yeah,
how that connection has been, Kizzy or in Corsica.
They were really positive. We were the first thing of this kind they've done in Maine, so that's kind of exciting. I didn't get any reticence from them at all, and I think, you know, they've historically not been so energy friendly, and I think they kind of want to, you know, up their profile on helping towns be more resilient and be more, you know, environmentally friendly. And I think that, you know, we're kind of a good look for them. And the fact that we have, because in the Zoom meeting, we had 3 people from CMP, they were managers of something, I can't quite remember, Kreska can remind me, but and the guy from NREL. So, you know, I think the fact that we had somebody from NREL in the meeting really carried a lot of weight. And they were really positive. So yeah, it's kind of exciting. We'll kind of be, if it does work out, we'll kind of be like the trailblazers of Maine, which is quite cool.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I just want to say one thing, like, I think the microgrid developers that we spoke to initially, I mean, and when I kind of talked to other people, they said like having utility engagement is key. I mean, you're not, you know, if they aren't on board and early on, then it probably won't work. But yeah, this could really be a feather in CMP's cap if they are playing nice and good. So yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I think I have limited experience in this, but the experience I have says that you have to find the right person to interact with. I have an anecdote, it would take a little time, but I was struggling to get some visas for students going to France. Nobody in France or in the United States could get this to work. I stumbled on one woman in the consulate in Strasbourg. She just made it happen. And if I hadn't found her, nothing would have worked. So I think it's critical to find the right person who is willing and knows the connections to make it work. So that if you're dealing with CMP, keep your ears open for the right person.
My contact was Australia and really going.
We found we found the right person at CMP. You know, all 4 people, I think that we had a key account manager who's kind of our go-to, but you know, we had the engineering manager, the deployment manager. So I think we've definitely found the right people at CMP. We just need to kind of nurture it. But I feel confident that, you know, we've found the people that can help.
That's great. That's awesome. Cool. Well, keep us posted, obviously.
We'll have to compare notes, because I think I found one or two at CMP as well, but It took a while.
Yeah, if you, yeah,
Because the
let us know.
metering problem was real. It was a problem with metering if the supply had a different time frame than the delivery. And everybody's all up in arms about that, but it's a piece of cake with electronic metering now. And then nobody was thinking about it.
Well, I feel
But I
like,
found somebody who said, yeah, we can do that. That's what I wanna hear.
Right.
That's what you
Somebody
always
who's
wanna
open
hear.
to Possibilities,
Yeah.
yes, it's not the title that counts, it's the brain that counts.
Yeah.
I agree
or just
totally,
the
totally.
decision-making, prowess and connection to the decision maker. But I think, we made, I mean, for where we are, we made a good start. And I think, hopefully it'll get us, if they're not exactly the right ones, we'll funnel to the right ones.
Go on,
So,
we'll get a concept of the microgrid and we can bounce it off CMP and make it work.
yeah, it's very exciting. So that is gonna help us a lot and move things quickly. So that's good. Okay, anything else that people want to bring up or questions or?
I don't know, one thing that's happened is kind of recently, and that's a lot of phone calls from CMP on outages. Now, that doesn't reflect this metering necessarily here at the meeting, but it's very unusual. I think I had 4 or 5 telephone calls on an
Telephone
outage.
calls or text messages?
Huh?
Telephone calls or text
I
messages?
know they are.
No, I'm asking, one or, which was it?
Well, what,
Were you getting a telephone
Text
call or a text message? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
not, it was automatic call because they had thousands of them.
Yeah.
But the idea that they could pinpoint my address and said the outage was real, I knew it was. And told me it was out, and then they said it was back, and by God, it was. Now, that's very unusual.
What I found new was that they asked 3 questions. Do you know the cause? I forgot what the questions are, but they asked questions. They
Yeah.
wanted feedback specifically from your address.
And they say if we say the power is on and it's off, then tell us, or if we say the power's off and it's on, yeah, for sure.
That's very unusual. That's new to the
Get any
utility business, to
messages.
be able to tell
I
them you've got
got
power
the
or
text
not.
messages. I
I
got,
wonder what phone number they have. They probably have our landline.
yeah, I have the text messages.
I think you have to sign up for it.
It's good to know though, because then you can see like how many people are having an outage, like if it's just a small group or not.
That's-
But I know like Chris, you said you have to leave, or somebody has to leave, so.
Yeah, sorry, I just didn't get something to,
Okay. Well, so we're gonna, I think some folks have to go, but we can also just talk amongst ourselves about text messages and CMP if we want. I don't think there's anything else. Toby sent along this budget and I can make some adjustments. There's really nothing, we haven't spent any money, so we don't really need to, but I will make some of these adjustments in the future. And I think that's it. Our next meeting is May 14th. But yeah, so does somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I was waiting for somebody else to do
Okay.
it. That's
Anybody
so-
want to second the motion? Okay, great. Thank you. Monica, so all in favor of adjourning the meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, great.
Say bye.
Bye. Well, and also thank you all very much. Y'all doing seriously, like awesome work. Really good. Very much
Trying to
appreciated.
just get my bathroom ceiling to fit.
So Jessica,
I wish you luck. That's an odd problem.
Schedule for Friday.
Insulating the bathroom upstairs. That's been a heat loss.
Okay, so.
And getting the
in
pieces
email
of
I said it
sheetrock
would
to
come
fit
in
the
about
uneven,
9:30,
unsquare
11.
space.
Somewhere
It
in that
just,
timeframe, if there's
Yeah,
a way that you might feel.
I could do that,
Drop
yeah.
by.
No
I
fun.
wish you luck. I mean,
it takes more than luck. It just takes,
trying to get the phone to fit into the joist also was a thing and.
oh, that's easy.
It's not easy. I mean, some of them had wires, so you had to make different pieces and you had to shape them differently.
So you're heading at that
Yeah,
street.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if I need to-
But I
So-
was also impressed that it was
Okay,
all.
I
over
hope the
the show.
wings cooperate.
Yeah, it was all over this.
There's no reason why women can't do this stuff.
I know,
Just-
but we haven't traditionally, and so it was good that women wanted to come and learn how to do that.
Absolutely.
And older women too.
Well, many of the older women, one of the reasons I have encountered the fact that many elderly women don't have anyone to